Hello Year 9, this is the lesson on compound interest. Now Dr. Kutis has already explained a bit about what compound interest is, so I'm going to go straight in with some examples. Firstly, just to say, so in all of these examples the interest is compounded annually. Later in your mathematical career you'll have a look at different ways that interest can be compounded. But this just means that at the end of each year, the interest earned is added to the principal invested or borrowed. Okay then, so example 24. I'll give you a moment to read the initial part of that. Okay, so this PA, we have seen it before, it means per annum. So that means that she earns 7.5% interest per year. Annum means year. Okay, so how much will it be worth at the end of 1 year? So we take the initial amount, which is 100,000, and this is our 100%. We're adding on 7.5%, so we end up with 107.5% altogether. That's 1.075 that we're multiplying by. So after 1 year, we have 107,500. At the end of 2 years, so again, we start with 100,000. Now I'm going to be multiplying by 1.075 twice. 1.075 times 1.075 is the same as saying 1.075 squared. And that goes in the calculator and we get 115,562.5. We're talking about dollars here though, so we put a 0 on the end because we always write money to 2 decimal places. At the end of 6 years, so I'm still starting with my principal. This time I'm going to be multiplying by 1.075 6 times, so that's 1.075 to the power of 6. And this time I'm going to be rounding, so my answer is approximate. I've got $154,330.15. The percentage increase on the original investment at the end of 6 years. So I don't have very much space there, so I'm going to go down here for part D. So my original amount was multiplied by 1.075 to the power of 6. That's approximately equal to the original amount multiplied by 1.5433. I've rounded that to 4 decimal places because then I can see, so my original amount was 100%, so I've got a 54.33% increase. For question E, the total interest earned over the 6 years, so this is how much we had at the end of the 6 years. And I subtract how much I started with, so the $100,000 that I started with. And so my total interest was $54,330.15. For question F, working out the simple interest, remember simple interest is principal times the rate times the time. So my principal was 100,000. The rate 7.5%, so I write that 0.075, and the time was We're looking at 6 years here, so times 6. Pop that into the calculator, and that gives me 45,000. Yeah, 45,000. So note that 45,000 is a lot less than 54, just over 54,000. And that will always be the case, that simple interest will pay you less interest over 2 or more years than compound interest will. Pause the video now while you have a go at questions 1, 4 and 5. Okay, so that was the bank paying someone money when they're saving their money with the bank. When people take out a loan, they have to pay the bank money, and that's also called interest. So I'll give you a moment to read the example. Okay, so how much will Hussein owe the bank at the end of 4 years? So he borrowed 150,000. The rate is 11%, so increasing something by 11%, we've got 111%, which is 1.11, and we're looking at being over 4 years, so 1.11 to the power of 4. Put that in the calculator, and then I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places because I'm talking about money. I get $227,710.56. The percentage increase over that time, so I'm going to do this down here. So it was my original amount multiplied by 1.11 to the power of 4. Evaluate this part here. So that's my original amount multiplied by about 1.5181. Again, I'm rounding to 4 decimal places because then that will give me a percentage to 2 decimal places. So the percentage increase in the money is 51.81% increase. Okay, so even with a relatively small interest rate of 11% over 4 years, he'll have to pay back more than half as much again. Okay then, so the total interest that he has to pay, so he has to pay back this amount here, $227,710.56. The amount he borrowed in the first place, it was 150,000. And so that gives me 77,710.56. Question D, the simple interest. Remember, simple interest, principal times rate times time. So the principal amount, the initial amount he borrowed was 150,000. The rate was 11%, which we write as a decimal, and the time was 4 years. So if he was just paying simple interest, he would have to pay back 66,000. Pause the video while you have a go at questions 2, 3 and 6. Okay, as in other chapters, we can also reverse the process to find the original amount. So I'll give you a moment to read the example. Okay, so the final amount that Eleni owes is the original amount multiplied by, so our rate is 9%, so 1.09. And we're looking at the Eleni's borrowing the money for 3 years. So the original amount times 1.09 to the power of 3. Now we're trying to find what this original amount is. So we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 1.09 to the power of 3, because we're looking for the original amount. Now, because the bank will not allow the debt to exceed 300,000, I can substitute 300,000 in for this final amount. And then I put this calculation into the calculator, and that tells me that the original maximum amount that Eleni can borrow is $231,655. Okay then, now I'd like you to finish off the exercise, so questions 7 to 17. And if you have any questions, please ask your teacher. Thank you very much.